Hi students, today for our third grade lesson we are going to do a practice assessment. You're going to need pages 47 through 51. So since this is a practice assessment, what I'm going to do is to read the story and then I'm going to ask the questions. I'll give you your choices that you're to choose from. You can pause the video through each question and answer it, or you can go back and do it however you want to do. I'll read the story once. If you need it read twice, just rewind it back and hear me read it again, okay? All right, so here we go. We're going to read Following the Stars. We start on page 47. Here we go. Following the Stars by Krista O'Connell. Wait up, Robert said, hurrying along the forest path. Jake stopped for a moment, letting his eyes adjust to the semi-darkness around him. Thankfully, there was plenty of moonlight. You're too slow, he called. Hurry up. No, you're too fast, Robert replied with a smile. Slow down. This was a regular joke between the two boys. They had been friends for as long as either could remember, and they were as different as they could be. But this evening, Jake wasn't in the mood for joking. They were completing the final test for their summer nature camp. They had to find the North Star and follow it until they came to an open field. The counselors would be waiting for them beside a toasty, warm campfire. Each of the boys wore a whistle. If either blew the whistle, it would be a signal they were lost. Robert was calm. He had spent lots of time hiking, even at night, but his friend was in a rush and getting worried. This was Jake's first time out of the city. He wanted to get to the safety of the campfire as quickly as he could. I'm going to blow my whistle. What were they thinking letting us wander around the woods alone at night? Jake griped, standing close to Robert. Take it easy, Robert patted Jake on the back. We just have to use what we learned. Let's break it down into steps. We can do this. Jake took a deep breath. Okay. I guess we're not in any danger yet. First things first, find the Big Dipper, Jake said. The two boys stood still and looked up. For a moment, they forgot about their task and stood in awe of the sight. Away from the lights of the city, the black sky was bursting with stars. But soon the boys remembered their job and began searching for the stars that formed the Big Dipper. There, Robert shouted, pointing his finger at a patch of stars. Jake looked up to where Robert was pointing. He smiled when he saw a familiar shape among the tangle of stars. Okay, let's go, Jake said, and started walking quickly away from their spot in the forest. Robert grabbed his shoulder. Wait, let's take our time. We want to be sure we get it right, Robert said, shaking his head. Jake was always jumping into things too fast. What's the next step? Jake sighed. I guess you're right. Okay. The next thing is to find the two stars at the end of the Big Dipper on the side of the cup across from the handle, Robert said. There they are, Jake said. He pointed to the pitcher and then up into the sky. Now we just have to imagine a line connecting the stars. The end of the line should point to the North Star, Robert recalled. They soon saw the star that shone brighter than many of the others around it. They began walking toward it, hoping their decision was the right one. They didn't have to travel far. Within minutes, they could see the warm glow of a campfire through the trees. When they proceeded into the clearing, everyone clapped and cheered. Told you we wouldn't need the whistle, Robert told Jake with a grin and a friendly whack on the back. I guess you were right for once, Jake said, smiling. He was proud that he hadn't given up and blown his whistle. As the friends walked toward the fire, they knew they would remember how those stars had helped them find their way long after they returned home. All right, on number 1, we're going to choose from C or D. Which sentence from Following the Stars tell what Jake and Robert must do for their final test at the camp? C, they had to find the North Star and follow it until they came to an open field. Or D, within minutes they could see the warm glow of a campfire through the trees. So which one of those is what they had to do for their final test at the camp? Number 2, we're choosing from A or B. Why does Robert grab Jake's shoulder in paragraph 10 of Following the Stars? A, to stop Jake from walking into a clump of poison ivy, or B, to get Jake to slow down and carefully find the North Star. We ever mention poison ivy in that story? All right, number 3, we're choosing from C or D. The following question has 2 parts. First answer part A, then answer part B. So for part A, we're choosing from C or D. And part B, we're choosing from C or D. Read the sentence from the story. Away from the lights of the city, the black sky was bursting with stars. Which of the following best describes the meaning of the word bursting as it is used in the sentence? C, flying apart, or D, completely filled? Part B, which sentence from the story best supports the answer to part A? C, they soon saw the star that shone brighter than many of the others around it, or D, he pointed to the picture and then up into the sky. Now on page 51, number 4, which sentence best begins a retelling of Following the Stars? Choose from A or B. Which sentence best begins a retelling of Following the Stars? A, Jake and Robert are taking their final test at summer nature camp, or B, Jake and Robert find the Big Dipper and the North Star. So which is the best begins the retelling of the Following of the Stars? If you were just starting to tell it, which one of those would you start with? Number 5, select the 2 sentences that best tell how the picture in Following the Stars helps readers better understand the story. So looking at the picture, which 2 sentences best tell or best helps the reader understand the story? We're going to choose from C, D, E, or F, and you're choosing 2. C, it shows what Jake and Robert saw in the sky that night. D, it shows how Jake and Robert feel during the test. E, it shows that Robert is more at ease in the woods than Jake. Or F, it shows how alone Jake and Robert are out in the dark woods. So which 2 of those help you best understand the story? Be sure that your parents send this in to me through my email or through Dojo so I can give it to Miss Griffin so that you can get credit and points for doing your work, okay? All right, you guys have a great day. We'll see you for the next lesson.